Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 back at it with another video for you guys. I'm back with another anime series review, but this is morely a seasonal thing because I thought about it, it was upcoming soon, and I actually wanted to review to the channel. And what better way to start by going through the first two seasons, um, before the second season's part two comes out. But other than that, I'm here to talk My Life is Reincarnated as Slime. Now, I'm strictly talking season one. I'm gonna also make a separate video discussing season two, part one, and then when My Life is Reincarnated Slime comes back for season two, part two, I'll do weekly reviews for that. Now, obviously, if you're gonna ask, am I going to review the Slime Diaries and stuff like that. I have to watch that still to see if that's the case. Preferably, I'd rather watch it in the dub if they ever dub it, but we'll see when the time comes. I'll wait a bit before I end up reviewing that. But My Life Reincarnated as Slime. Um, well, for starters, it's another isekai, and it's a very interesting isekai here. Now, I remember when I first saw it, I was intrigued, but I wasn't really fully gutted to watch it. But then, I was like, you know what? I might as well give it a watch. Now, I watched the dub format. I didn't watch the sub, so I know I only watched like a little bit of the sub. I'll definitely be introducing the sub when I watch part two of season two. But I watched the dub. Rimuru Tempest is played by Brittany Karbowski. If you know your English dub voices, Brittany Karbowski plays are her two major roles. She plays in any other anime are obviously Wendy Marvel from Fairy Tail and Makoto Mizuka from A Certain Scientific Railgun are the Index series or franchise or something like that. But I personally love Brittany Karbowski's voice, so I enjoyed her role as Rimuru Tempest. Now there's some other famous actors are pretty big, English dub voice actors, but I'm not going to go into detail with each and every one of them. But just to let you know, main leads played by Brittany Karbowski. So if you're on the fence about watching the dub and you like Brittany Karbowski, well, there you go. So yeah, but like I was saying, this is essentially an isekai anime, but it's a pretty different isekai anime than most other isekai animes. Well, for starters, same thing applies. Obviously, you have a character, the main character live out in the real world. A tragic accident happens to where he dies. In this sense, he died saving his best friend's girlfriend from a guy that looked like he was crazy. But he gets impaled. He dies, and as he's dying, he's essentially like wishing he could get all these, types of stuff and things like that. And we find out he ends up reincarnating as a slime in another world. Unlike other isekais, where people would die and then reincarnate as essentially their human self and stuff like that. Here, it's different because it's a slime, because now you have somebody reincarnated as what you would typically see as a monster out in the wild. And, it's pretty interesting too. And he gets all these different types of stat boosts and skills over time of this series that makes him probably the most deadliest slime to ever be known in existence. Um, we find out some information when he's in the cave about Veldora and stuff like that, and he imbues Veldora within him, promising to, make a new body for him so he can come back and stuff like that because he was sealed in that cave. It's been a while since I watched season one, so if I'm not getting all the details right, that's fine. So yeah, and then you see Rimuru go on, and the whole premise is the fact is you see him as he meets a new monster race. He creates eventually a village, which we obviously see his village at the end of season one, where it's got freaking orc lords, or yeah, orcs. The obviously the people from the wetlands, goblins, uh, Benomaru and his group, and stuff like that. I forgot what species they were. But it was a really interesting anime because to me it's like, okay, it's different, and it's essentially a monster, a slime leading other monster forces to come together and just try to create a peaceful, environment. And we see that in this show, Rimuru says like, "Hey, to all the other monsters, listen, do not attack humans." When we get to season two, I'll talk about that point on. But I like the fact that it was good. Each character, each of the main cast of characters are very colorful in their own ways. I love Gobta. I love Shion. I love essentially those characters and stuff like that. Rimuru is also another funny character within himself. Um, One of the biggest influences in Rimuru's character development, spoilers, I would say, is the character of Shizu. And we find out here in this thing, which was pretty interesting, of the fact how it isn't just how in this unique universe here is the fact that, well, guess what? You don't die and reincarnate in this world sometimes. We find out in Shizu's case, she was forcibly, due to the church, forced to come over to this world and essentially be somewhat, you could say, of a slave or a host to a representative spirit. So in Shizu's case, she had to hold in the whole spirit of Ifrit. And again, spoilers again. It was her story was very freaking sad. The fact that she was just a wandering adventurer time and time again, and the fact that from a young age she could never control Ifrit, and the fact that whenever she wanted to have fun and stuff like that, but when somebody went against the church and did something wrong, the Ifrit spirit essentially took control of her body, and she got rid of it, and she got rid of the nuisance. And when she got back to her regular state, status, where she has control of her body, the person she would care about is gone. Like, it was very emotional. The one part where she had the friend and everything, and then she ended up killing the friend because, hey, the friend went against the church rules and stuff like that. And when she realized that, it was just horrible. And the fact that, for years she was a wandering adventurer with the mask and stuff like that to essentially contain the Ifrit. And by the time she meets Rimuru, you know, it's just too Ifrit's power is just too much for her to, hold on to. It lets her out, and Rimuru has to essentially, kill her and put her down to be able to stop Ifrit and stop Shizu from absolutely annihilating their village, and stuff like that. And the whole thing there, when you get to the end, when she's like her death was very influential, very emotional, and very much of a huge character development moment for Rimuru because essentially, you know, Shizu told Rimuru, like, listen, you need to take on my burden. Do this. Also take care of these kids that I taught. And Rimuru essentially took all the burdens of Shizu and put them on himself to fulfill those things. And I really did like how by the end of the season, it did come around for full circle for him. And it was great. It was very emotional death, and you could see, as he's like, as she's dying, she's getting older because she's lived for damn near over, like, I think they said 300 plus years. And then that's how you see Rimuru get his human form from absorbing, obviously, Shizu and stuff like that. More things. I like Yom and his character, and the other human characters that that end up being allies to Rimuru. And that's what you also see. You see Rimuru along with his village, after creating his village, try to create, relationships with other neighboring nations to be like, hey, listen, we may be monsters, but we're nice guys. We're not planning on attacking humans or anything. And I really do like the fact that this is trying to take a different approach, and stuff like that. Because Rimuru could be like, attack humans and stuff like that. and just keep attacking them and have no mercy. But I like how Rimuru, mostly from his human side, is like, no, we're not going to do that, and things like that. I like obviously essentially his commanders, Benamaru and his group, because they're all individually strong and they all have very funny moments. I like how Shion and Shuna, they kind of go back and forth because I guess you can say they both have a thing for Rimuru, especially Shion, because she holds Rimuru like strictly up near her chest area, and stuff like that. The designs, when they were first introduced before their names were given, which I think was a pretty cool aspect in this series, the fact that these monsters don't have names, and when Rimuru gives them their names, not only their appearances look different, but their power grows, and stuff like that. But yeah, I find that very interesting, and I also like the running gag that when you gave them names, Rimuru would essentially pass out for a select number of days because he used up essentially all his power just to give him these names and stuff like that. So yeah, trying to remember what I last left off on when it results to I'm trying to think. Well, really, his commanders. I really like all of them. They're all very funny in their own ways and stuff like that, and very serious. I again, I'll have their names in the next video, but I like the old swordsman. He's great. He's funny gag character, especially for Gobta and the other goblins who train with him and stuff like that. So very funny, and that's one thing about this isekai that is very, especially compared to the second season, part one, from what we saw. This entire season of the first season of My Life Reincarnated Slime is very entertaining, very funny, very enjoyable, and I even got to the demon lords like Malim and stuff like that. Which again, Malim, very bright, funny character. You think a demon lord character like Malim, would be a dangerous character. And obviously, especially when you get to season 2, you see how, and even a little bit in this season when they take on the big, giant thing that looked like was going to end the entire world. She's very destructive in her power. But, yeah, I like the funny moments with her and stuff like that. It is funny. And it's even a little, I guess, odd and funnier the fact that the type of outfit she's wearing. Again, the show is very, in some cases, it does show you a lot of bland fan service in your face, but it's not overbearing like some other series and stuff like that. But, I do like the fact that it is a very funny, energetic, like slice of life, brings to life our enjoyment of My Life Reincarnated as Slime. I'm trying to think about anything else I kind of want to bring up for season 1 in terms of things. One of my favorite arcs was definitely the Orc Lord arc, where obviously Rimuru had to help the people in the wetlands, the monsters in the wetlands, take down the Orc disaster because, hey, he's coming to try to kill everybody, and it's under the influences of obviously the evil demon lords we see in this series and stuff like that. That was definitely one of my favorite arcs, like Gabiru essentially taking, a chill pill saying like, oh, he's not all this and that and stuff like that. And it was very nice. And again, it was another way for Rimuru to create a relationship with another race, this time, and again, monsters, to, essentially work together collaboratively with them. And even with the orcs, after that whole thing. And I do like, especially, obviously the orc disaster. Especially, I've seen the one episode in Slime Diary's second episode, which takes essentially in between season 1 and 2. I like what he did because you look at it, and he did a really bad thing, and then he's atoning for his sins. And I like the fact that he's kind of doing that. And you even see what he does in season 2, which was pretty badass. But I love all of that. I love all of that. I love the last arc where Rimuru goes to the school where Shizu used to teach those students who are from Earth, just like Rimuru is, but forcibly got brought here, and they're on like essentially a time limit to how long they can live. And I like the fact that Rimuru managed to save those kids by going to essentially an area to draw out those spirits, their individual spirits, so they can live on. I really like that arc. I also the one girl that looks somewhat similar to Shizu, the person, the girl he gave and we see in season 2 gives the mask. He gives the mask to, again, I don't know, I forgot these kids' names since it's been so long. But again, I like, Rimuru got that whole thing of she feels like she's like I feel Veldora from her. So it seems like she has something to do with the power of Veldora. Very going to be very interesting to see what happens there for her if we see, her going forward in the series. But very very cool. The introduction to Demon Lord's whole aspect of having this overarching, very strong force, very interesting where it's feared amongst everybody in this world and stuff like that. So yeah. But other than that, art and animation, they look really relatively good, and it's very colorful, very vibrant. Characters have those bright colors like Rimuru. You can identify him as the blue. I like the blue on him. Benamaru, the red, it suits him well and stuff like that. Characters are very color coded to say. And going back to the funny scenes, I always like the funny scene where they go to the one, I guess you could say, elf club with the sexy elves, which is kind of like, I guess, a representation of a strip club. But I always love them going there and stuff like that, especially season 2. I freaking cracked up and stuff like that. I was dying when that happened in season 2, but I'll talk about that in my season 2 review. But the one thing I do like and I do take away is the fact that, even though, in season 1 there was much more comedy than seriousness, I do like the fact that this isekai was different, and it was essentially about establishing and building relationships with other nations. So, you can have temporary truces and stuff like that, and bring up trade and things like that. They get into very economy like things in this series with trade and country relations and stuff like that, and how individual country and how you're doing inside of your countries and stuff like that. And it was very interesting to say the least. So yeah, and then again, one more funny part I'd like to mention. I like how the goblins, when Rimuru first comes across the goblins, they just automatically serve him and everything. So it's funny, but it's a very intriguing anime. If you haven't checked it out, please do. I didn't really spoil too much. I kind of just gave somewhat of a brief overview of some story points. Like, I think I spoiled a little here and there, but it is definitely a good series. And if you haven't checked out My Life Reincarnated as Slime, I really recommend you check it out. It is a really good isekai. No, not just good, it's a great isekai. You're going to get your comedy, you're going to get your action. You're not going to get as very much tense moments, which I will say season 2 does build up on and make it better in season 2. Because in season 2, they push up the tension, insanely at a fast rate. So if you watch through this for the first time, you're like, there's really no tension here. There's some tension for a few arcs here and there, but not too much. Season 2's got you covered. But this is an isekai that you can sit back, enjoy, have laughs, fun, have fun with some of the favorite characters, and get very heartwarming moments. There is one thing in this series that it had, in this season that it had very heartfelt, heartwarming moments and stuff like that, and very good stuff. But yeah, that's kind of it. So if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, put in your comment section if you have seen My Life Reincarnated Slime. What was your favorite moment from season 1? Again, I will be doing a My Life as Reincarnated Slime season 2 part 1 review coming soon. So yeah, but other than that, that's it. Also, again, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more My Life Reincarnated as a Slime content. Again, when season 2, part 2 starts dropping episodes, I will review that stuff. What I'm going to try to do, I'm recording this Friday. I think this season 1 video is going to definitely go up Friday, someday on Friday. And then either season 2, part 1, is either going to go up either maybe tomorrow, Sunday, or Monday. I'll see based on how much I have to upload. I'm probably going to target a Sunday upload for My Life Reincarnated Slime season 2, part 1, so then I can be on time to be able to record or be able to watch My Life Reincarnated Slime season 2, part 2. The only thing that sucks is that I'm going to have to listen to it in the sub, but I have no problem listening to the sub. Again, it's to your own preference. If you prefer to listen to the sub for this show, go ahead. The sub is just as good as I would say the dub. I watched the dub. Now, both seasons of My Life as Reincarnated Slime season 1 and season 2, part 1 have been dubbed. Now I know there's extra content, like the Slime Diaries and then the OVA episodes of the slime of My Life Reincarnated Slime. Now those have yet to be dubbed yet. I don't know when they're getting dubbed. I don't know if the OVA episodes are getting dubbed. I don't know if the Slime Diaries are getting dubbed because that's on Funimation's end. Crunchyroll essentially does the subbing. Funimation does the dubbing for it does the dubbing for My Life Reincarnated Slime. Now, what they could be doing is maybe they dub the Slime Diaries while season 2, part 2 is airing, and then when that's essentially done, they dub season 2, part 2. So if you're a dub fan for My Life and Reincarnated Slime, you're probably gonna have to wait a while before, maybe hell, if not longer, to see season 2, part 2. Obviously, if you can't wait, you can always go watch the sub version. But usually people I know who watch dubs religiously, they just stick to the dub and they just wait it out till the dub comes. Like, for example, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord's English dub came out just yesterday. And that show I think is already finished. But other than that, that's kind of it. So again, I'm gonna get over. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys for my season 2, part 1 review of My Life Reincarnated Slime. Till then, guys, have a great rest of your day. Peace.